Hey YouTube, welcome to another video. So in this episode, I'll update the baseline layer to switch design that I have covered and implemented last January. So this is the Advanced Gen LAN version 2024.0201. In this version, I'll show you how to give each VLAN a function, a purpose, or a characteristics. Other than that, you can see here on the what's new, you can see that the gateway handles the internet traffic, the switch handles intra and inter VLAN traffic, and I will show one-way, two-way switch ACL via granular configuration. So I'll discuss more on this later on. In my layer 3 switch video, I have shown how to configure the switch as an inter-VLAN router and how to help your switch get access to the internet by putting in static routing to your internet gateway. So in this episode, I will show how to implement purely switch ACL to give each VLAN a function, a purpose, and a character. So as you can see here in the legends, I will only be covering admin VLAN, home VLAN, guest VLAN, camera VLAN, as well as IoT VLAN. These other VLANs will be discussed in future episodes. So this is why I have it TBD. So for the function or purpose or characteristics of each VLAN, I have here a table similar to New Gen LAN Designs. So for the admin, it will have internet access, it will have access to its peers and neighbors, meaning devices on the same VLAN can see each other, can talk to each other. Admin can manage the network, and it will have access to other VLANs in this example through ICMP or ping. And it will have granular access, and in this video I'll show that using VNC. For the home, you will see that it will have internet access. It can access the peers and neighbors, printers and other devices, file sharing, home servers, web servers of your own. If you have VPN servers in here, you can have it here as well. But it will not have access to the management VLAN, and it can access the IoT using SSH. So that's granular access. So for the guest Wi-Fi, this is only wireless network, so it's not going to be wired connection. It will have internet access, but it can never see peers and neighbors. So if you have a printer or a file share or other devices connected to the same access point, they will not see each other. It will not have access to the management VLAN or other VLAN other than the captive portal, so it will not have granular access as well. For the camera, it will not have access to the internet, but it will have access to peers and neighbors. Preferably, you will have a DVR or NVR where your camera can put their recordings and use that as a storage. But it will not have access to the management VLAN, nor will it have any access to other VLANs, nor will it have any granular access to and from other VLANs. And the last VLAN that I'm going to discuss is the IoT VLAN. It will have internet access so you can update your devices. It will have access to peers and neighbors, especially if you have a smart hubs or anything like that. This is also a good place you can use your MDNS devices. This one will work here. It will not have access to management VLAN. It will not have access to other VLANs. And it will have granular access if needed. This part is related to this last bullet in here. With the latest firmwares as of this recording, there is a stateful gateway ACL. And the way it works is that one VLAN can always initiate communication to another VLAN. So let's say home and IoT. So home VLAN can always initiate a communication to IoT, but IoT can never initiate a connection to home. Once home has initiated the communication to IoT, there will be two-way communication. However, people have challenges on doing granular access for gateway ACL. So the alternative way is to use switch ACL. However, with switch ACL, it is not stateful. So I will show how to have an alternative way of communicating from home to IoT, wherein IoT can never phone back home devices, but they can if they need to, using the configuration that I'm going to show in this video later. So let me show you the current setup. These are my current devices, and I'll show you how everything is configured. This is my ER605 gateway. This is an OG gateway, and I have two switches in here. One is a layer 3 switch, which is the SG3428-RT. And one is just a regular switch, which is an access switch, SG-2210MP. And I do have two wireless access points for wireless clients. I'll just quickly show the configuration of the layer 3 switch. Okay, there you go. For more information about layer 3 switch, I highly suggest you watch my previous video about layer 3 switching. Let's go to my network settings. I'm using dual 1, but you don't need dual 1 to implement this configuration. for the LAN, if you have seen my previous video, you will be familiar with this one. But for those seeing this for the first time, I only have one gateway interface. If you look here, this is how it's defined in all those ones. So this is your typical router and stick configuration. But the rest of the VLANs are layer 2 broadcast only VLAN. All of them have the same configurations except for the VLANs. It's VLAN 11 and switches only. So let me just go through that. I'll see that video doing editing. For the profiles, I only created one custom profile to represent all the layer 2 broadcast only VLANs, which is the LTS-all. That's how it's configured. Nothing changed in here in the advanced option. Moving on to the wireless section of the configuration, I only have this few number of SSIDs because I'm only going to focus on this as I discussed earlier in the introduction. So admin VLAN, home VLAN, guest VLAN, camera VLAN, and IoT. For the network security, I don't have any gateway ACL, I don't have any EAP ACL, and I already created all the ACLs that I will need for demonstration. So for transmission, since I'm using layer 3 switching, I have to add static route between the switch and the gateway. And these are all the VLANs that I have defined only from the switch, and I have to give this internet access. And this settings is the one that provides internet access to all the layer 2 VLANs. So these are the profiles that I have created. It's needed because whenever you're going to create ACLs, you don't have any networks except for the admin VLAN, and I'll show you that later on. So let's just look at one of them. This is how it looks. IP group, and everything, and then I'm going to speed up in editing. And then I also have all the custom ports that I will need for demonstration for the ACL. So DNS port 53, and then this one is all the VLAN groups that I have defined on the layer 2 switch: 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, 81, and 91. SSH IoT LAN 91. A review on this one. So it's VLAN 91 with SSH port 22, and then this one is just SSH port 22. This one is just the BNC port, which is 5900. I added 5800 in case I have some devices that I have configured for 5800, and I added the home VLAN in here, and I have BNC port. For the demonstration, I'm going to use the LAN design again, and I'm going to show you where that particular command lies on the ACL. So let's go with the admin first. Okay, so with the admin in here, it says here that if you look at all the other ones here, only the admin has access to the management VLAN, so everything else is no. Let's go with that. So that will be this command: deny all to admin. That means I'm going to deny all the VLANs, these VLANs: 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, 81, and 91. All these VLANs are in here. To make the source a little bit shorter, I group them in the profile groups. All of them are in this particular profile group. So let's just do a quick check. That's it. And admin. And if you remember, in the network, since I'm using all VLANs in the layer 2 switch, they don't appear as network in here. So you will need to use IP group to show all the networks in here. So I'm not going to save this one, I'm just going to cancel. Let's demonstrate how this one works. So what I just accessed are a machine at home VLAN, which is 192.168.11.2, and in the IoT VLAN, which is 192.168.91.2. Then I will access this, which resides in the camera VLAN 31.2, and another one at the camera VLAN, which is 31.3. So let's verify their address, and you can see it's 11.2 in here. It's 91.2. Okay. This one's 31.2. And my IP address should be at 101. There you go, 101.105. so but let me just show a ping as well. Ping 192.168.11.2, so that one works. I'll ping 91 IoT, that one works. I'll ping 31 camera and another camera, so those works. So I'll do the same thing here. 1.5, so it's not PC, I'm pinging my PC. So probably there's no ACL, so that's why I'm pinging everything. Okay, so control break, control break, control break, control break. So this one should have access to the internet, and the Pi zeros have problem with the browser, so I'll just ping google.com here, show you that I have access to the internet. Ping google.com and I have internet. So control break, control break. This one should have YouTube, this one's go. Go. And this one still loading, there you go. Okay. Let's see here. Now turn this on. There you go. So I will get disconnected with everything here. So the way you will know that I'm disconnected is that whenever I hover my mouse here, you will see that the icons are not getting activated. I can click here and none of the icons are getting activated, and none of the icons are active. And you can see this one already gave up. I think the other one has already given. This one has given up. This one still, and there you go. All of them have given up. And you will see that my ping has timed out. How do I allow access to this one via ping? So you can do that by permitting ICMP, but I don't recommend this. I just want to show this as part of the demonstration. And you can see this particular one, I use it very granularly in here so that I can limit the networks that I'm allowing ICMP that I would like to test. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I'll just allow everything. So there you go. And if I do this, and you can see that I can ping them again. And if I turn back this one off, so let's do that. I cannot ping that. I cannot ping 91. I cannot ping 31.3, and I cannot ping 31.2. But as soon as I turn this on, so 31.2 will be okay, 31.3 that will be okay, 91.2 will be okay, and 11.2 will be okay as well, but I will still not be able to connect to them. And the way I am going to access this one is through VNC. This one will allow me to connect specifically for all the devices in the network through VNC. Do that. Let's see. There you go. I think everything has returned. And if you see my mouse, you can see that all of them are getting activated as I hover my mouse, because this one is now active. Go. But I still cannot ping them once I turn off my ICMP. For now, I can ping my 105. So let's try pinging it 105. You go, starting 105. Let's start 105. Go and starting 105. Go and ping. Let's pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. And now I'm going to turn off ICMP, because this one is only going to be used for troubleshooting purposes only. And the same for the VNC. But I'm going to use the VNC for this video so that I can further demonstrate to you all the rest of the ACLs. Go do that, and again let me try pinging them again. This time it's not gonna work from any of the machines because I turned off ICMP. There you go. No ICMP is working. So with this, we are now done with the admin VLAN ACL or requirement, this one. Now I'm going to move on to home. So home has access to internet and has access to peers and neighbors, no access to management VLAN, and it has access to other VLANs, and we're going to work on the other VLANs and the granular access. But right now, home, as you can see on the VNC here, I cannot even ping any of the devices in the 101, which is the admin VLAN. We already met this criteria. I have internet access already, so let's check that one out again. So I have access to internet, and I'll show you the peers and neighbors. Let me turn on my desktop here. There you go. Okay, so let me turn this one on. So let me just show you the configuration of the switch. So port 23 is home. As you can see, I'm only using the odd numbered ports in here so that it's easier for me to plug and unplug. But this port 23 is a home VLAN. So let's open this one up, and let's open this one up. And if you're looking at the small screen, so I remove this one, so you will see that I will have general failure on the console, and I'm going to connect this to port 23. So now I'll be in the home VLAN. There you go. So let's check the IP. I should be in the VLAN 11, and there you go. I got 11.3, and I should have access to the VNCs again. Okay. And this one is the IoT. So you can see I have access to IoT, I have access to camera and camera. So I already met some requirement. I have access to internet, I have access to peers and neighbors. I don't have access to management VLANs. So in here, one of the requirements is to have a granular access to IoT. But right now, current setup, I have full access to IoT because IoT has access to everything. So we'll get through that as we move on through the network. But for now, let's go through the guest Wi-Fi. So this one is pretty easy. In here you can see the guest network. So we're going to use the built-in functionality of the guest, a feature of TPLINK Omada. All you have to do is check this one, this checkbox, and we're good to go. That one's condition is already met as well. So now let's go through the camera. So the camera is a little bit interesting. We have several options to do here for the camera. Let me go through the camera. So I have two stations in here. So I'm just pinging the gateway router in here. So I don't have access to the admin VLAN in here. So cancel, and then cancel. And right now I still have access to the internet. See, there you go. I have access to the internet, and I have multiple options to blocking access to internet. I can do ACL or remove static route. So let me just address local blocking before I block the internet. So what I can do is deny camera to all, and that will set me up. Let's do that. So once I deny camera to all, let's see what happens to the camera. You can see that I cannot highlight this anymore because now I lost access, because currently I'm in the home VLAN, and as per our requirement, it cannot access other VLAN. However, the admin VLAN should be able to access the camera. Okay, but let me just show you that I'm still connected to this one. So you can see here, still connected there, still connected there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my cable again. So if you're looking at the small screen, I'm just going back to the admin VLAN. So having moved this, and now I'm going back to the admin VLAN. So I should have my old 105 IP address back. There you go, 105. And so I'm still connected to home, still connected to IoT, and I will be connected back to the cameras because I should have access to here. So for the camera, we know for a fact now that it cannot access other VLANs. So how do I check that? So let me do a quick ping to 91.2, cannot, 11.2, I cannot, but I should have access to the peers and neighbors. So 31.3 should be okay, and the same thing for this other camera. So this one, 11.2 should fail, 91.2 should fail, but 31.2 should be fine because they are in the same network. Now they can access services within the network. But the thing here is that they can still access the internet. In google.com, you can see here they can still access the internet. And this is why I said the camera VLAN is a little bit interesting in this respect, because now that we have layer 3 switching, I can just disable static routing to this one, or I can use ACL. So let's go first with the static routing approach. Note that if I do this, my admin VLAN will not be able to reach the camera VLAN, making it really isolated from the rest of your network. So some people likes that, some people don't. So it's really up to you on how you would like to do that. Once I turn off this routing in here, I will get disconnected from all the rest of the VNCs. For now, I would like to turn it off so that it doesn't confuse the router. So let's do that. I'll edit this one and say it's 30. So as you can see, I will now lose route to 31. So I'm going to turn on the route again. There you go. Turn on this. And as you can see, I cannot connect to the cameras anymore. And that's because I don't have any static route to that network. Once I remove that from the static routing, that VLAN is completely cut off. However, it will not be a good demonstration if we lose access completely to the camera. So for the purpose of demonstration, let me just turn that on. And let me connect this. And then let's turn on and network security, and let me connect to the cameras. Go. There you go. And there you go. So now I'm back to my usual demonstration screen. Let me deny the internet in some other way. So this will be via ACL. So I'm denying port 53. So if your internet is using a different port, just add the port here and deny that to the camera. So let's check that one. See if we can still ping google.com. There you go. It cannot ping. And this one should not be able to ping as well. But I can ping the peers and neighbors. So if you have an NVR or DVR in the same network, then your camera VLAN will still work normally, but it will not just have internet access. As you can see, it already gave up. The last scenario for our diagram will be that the IoT will have internet access. It will have access to the peers and neighbors. However, it will not have access to the management VLAN, and it will not have access to the other VLANs. Right now, IoT can access other VLANs, so this one is not yet met, and the granular access should be tied up with the home VLAN. So let's focus on the IoT for now, and I'll just bring up home and IoT. So this is the home 11.2, and this is the IoT. So right now, if I do ping 11.2, it will work. And if I do ping 91.2, it will work. So I'm pinging each other. So if I do SSH, that works. You can see there. And if I do SSH, and that also works, as you can see there. Right now, the IoT and the home have two-way access. They can see each other, they can SSH, they can ping. There is no restriction between the two. So now we need to meet the requirements for the IoT. It should not have access to the other VLANs. And you can see here, this is how I do that. So deny IoT to all. So let me just turn it on. The IoT group is now denied to all the VLANs. You can be more granular. You can choose which VLANs your IoT is denied. But for now, all the rest of the layer 2 VLANs are denied for this one. Let's check what's happening now here. So let's go ping. I'm pinging 11.2. There you go. No working, no working. And make sure that I can also demonstrate the other option is, let me just go to google.com. So if you're looking at the main screen, I'm going back to the home VLAN. So this one, general failure, and I'm going back here. There you go, and I should have the home VLAN IP at 11.3. So then control break, and you will notice here that I will not have access to the IoT VLAN for VNC, and this is the normal behavior because we denied IoT access to all the other VLAN. But since I'm on the same VLAN as the 11.2, I can still go VNC with this one, but I should also lose access to the VLAN cameras. As you can see here, I don't have access. So now let's do another demonstration. So let me just go back here. So again, if you're looking at the small screen, I'm going back to the admin. There you go. So what I'm going to do next is something that has been discussed many times in the forums, and many people have disagreements of how switch ACL should work. They say, oh, it's not a stateful ACL, but what I'm going to show you is a pseudo one-way access from home to IoT, but not IoT to home. It's similar to a gateway ACL, but different. So let's go do that. Let me first access this. So as you can see here, let me just repeat that again. You cannot ping that. You cannot ping the, I'm pinging the IoT, I'm pinging the home. I cannot do that. Okay. And I cannot do SSH to IoT, and I cannot do SSH to home. Now let me do one way, okay, where in only one VLAN can initiate the communication. Let's do the SSH first. This one will allow SSH from home to IoT. So let's turn that on. There you go. So let's go to those devices again. Let me do another SSH. This is in the IoT, so it will fail. It will not be able to SSH to home. However, with that ACL, I should be able to SSH to IoT. There you go. So let me do another one. While I'm here, I will turn on this IoT VNC to show you that I will gain access of VNC from IoT to home. So it's the other way around. In this scenario, home can initiate communication with IoT, and it can maintain two-way communication. So let me do that here. So IP address. As you can see here, I'm already in the IoT machine. So I can initiate the communication and there will be two-way communication. However, the IoT cannot do that. So now, let me do VNC from IoT to home. Earlier, when I was in the home VLAN, I cannot do that, right? But now I'll show you that I can do that. So let me just go first to devices so that you can see the configuration. So I should be in 21. As you can see here, 21. And let's do that. Let's transfer my cable. So now I'm transferring my media PC from admin VLAN to IoT VLAN. So I'm removing this. So I'm moving a little bit faster to make the video a little bit shorter. There you go. First timed out. Come on. Okay, I can ping google.com, and it's okay because it's IoT. It has access to the internet, right? And I should have a 91 IP address, 91.3. So when I go to VNC, I should be able to VNC to the IoT machine. But the interesting thing here is, as you can see here, the home VLAN is still turned off. So if I turn this on, then I should be able to VNC from IoT to home. So let's do that. And there you go. So let me do an exit here. So let me show you that I can SSH from home to IoT, but I still cannot SSH from IoT to home. And I can VNC from IoT to home, but I cannot VNC from home to IoT. So if I move my cable here, so let me do that. I will show you that I will not be able to VNC. Okay, this one, I'm moving it to the port 23 that we used earlier for home. Oh. 11.3, there you go. And now you will see that I will not be able to restore the communication from home to IoT because VNC is only allowed from IoT to home. And again, I'm showing this as a way of demonstrating that you can do granular access from one VLAN to another without allowing two-way access for both in dual directions any single time. I've shown you that you can do SSH from home to IoT and establish two-way connection, but the IoT cannot establish that connection if it's initiated from the IoT VLAN. The same thing for the VNC. The VNC can only be established from IoT to home, but not from home to IoT. So I hope that helps settle a lot of the discussions. I've covered this in the past, but maybe I haven't really explained this really well. I hope with this demonstration and configuration that you can understand the settings. So I'm going through the settings of this one by one, but that's pretty much the end of the demonstration. I'm just going to show how everything is set up. So let me just go through here. So this is the admin VLAN. I have an IP group that contains all the layer 2 broadcast only VLANs, and I put it here in L3S, and I have the deny all, and this is the ICMP. As you can see, I did not use this one because I would like to granularly check each and any networks that I would like to check. So this one allows me to check each VLAN separately or all of them at the same time, and this is how it looks like. For the VNC, I use this so that I can always demonstrate multiple screens and multiple workstations. And then the IoT, this is the one that governs the IoT. You can see here the IT IP group, and I just selected everything except the IoT. So let's cancel that. And this is the one that allows IoT to VNC to home. This one is 91 IoT group. This one is IP port group VNC home 11. So this one VNC home 11, it's an IP port group with 192.168.11.1/24 with special port of 5900 and 5800. This one is an SSH, very similar as you can see here, but you can see how I set up my source and destinations. Okay, so this one is something that you might be interested to really grasp. You can see here I have an IP port group source here of SSH with IoT LAN 91 and IP group of home groups VLAN 11. So if I go here, and this one is just an IP port group with 192.168.91.1/24 with port 22, and then it goes to home group. Cancel. This one is deny camera to all, very similar to deny IoT to all. So for this one, just make sure you don't select the camera group when selecting the destination for your deny. And the deny internet access to camera, you have two ways. You can completely remove it from the static routing so that your camera just remains in layer 2, or if you would like to have some sort of remote access to it, then you can do via ACL. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you don't like this video, please give it a dislike. But do let me know in the comments what you don't like in this video so that I will be able to make those changes. Thank you for watching my video. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you and bye-bye.